I am actually alive, and there's actually some actual performative recoup, re-civilization, readjustment of some actual produce and some actual inflection that does actually have something wrong with it at other times. To me, an actual good gesture, an actual good constraint. Yes, but the primal legible, like all these sorts of things, and I have actually a very good social, like privilege or whatever. I was saying gigs I'd like to say once I said it, yes, and this is a good example of what I have said. It's not to make yourself seem like you have just like come out of the world and just like that, because that is what that actually is to me, for actual good, actual social standing reasons. Yes, I do actually have a very good social standing. Yes, I do. Thank you, thank you. He does actually worship you, yeah. He does worship you, yeah. He does worship you, yeah. Because I actually don't have anything like wrong with me, actually, at all, actually. And there's nothing actually that has actually done so out of the good quality of its heart at times. Isn't actually something that you would resort to or go to that sort of conclusion, or so don't think about it and don't get your hopes up or whatever of all those sorts of things. It's not actually like one of those types of things where the guy doesn't say anything to you otherwise, but he just looks at you and says, I wonder how many of these videos you could do, and just tell somebody off. There is actually something like actually going on within me at all. This actually has actually explained in some sort of way that is contrarian, or whatever the word is. I like words. And that would actually be refuted to actually be Elon Musk, even, like, in, like, that way. And what you wouldn't have understood, Finn, is that when they were saying all these things, they just wouldn't have realised I'm an actual person. I'm an actual person who actually does actually live in the world and should be treated with respect and then some. It's just because they just wouldn't have thought so. It's as simple as that sometimes, genuinely. And this is all like in like good, like actual good sound affirmed mind, good rubric, and good like actual like dignity, and good like actual responsiveness. I actually do have a good like palatable actual resumed, like actual like constraints and diversions and things like that. I do have all those sorts of things that you can qualify and you can distinguish and you can satisfy at any time. And now, have you got any self-respect to say to yourself? I would have thought so as well. I would have thought so as well, that what they were saying to you was really interesting at times, but I still would have thought so, even still, that what they had even said to you was, but it was in a very indigestible, actual integrational experience on the inside. There was actually nothing wrong with me at any actual standalone point, and this is actually very, very refutably explained to have actually been studied, even in the present or even in the past, and was actually studied to investigate what happened to you over time, and look at what actually you actually explained was mental health was actually very like mental health. Yes, like mental health was like mental health to me, and it was that was a real care for there. There was a real deeper actual care that was actually prestigiously not actually quite demonetized and demonized enough over time. For genuinely thinking so, it's an actual good report. That all of this is all just some experiment thing to make you wonder why. It's because I actually do have good values, and I have good actual satisfying like factors in society that actually are quite redeemable and actually are quite satisfactory at times, but the bare minimum of what you would understand actually is quite irrespective to me to say that it's to some actual cutting edge point in like a way that is very unusual for time. I am aware as well. I am aware of all these things. I am aware of everything else. I am aware of good social standings and things, and like actual like care for the world. But I actually have these qualities in heaps of amounts, and there is never anyone around me to actually know actual pain or suffering of anyone else. there's actually no actual like issue, and there is some contrasting, good, divulging, sort of actual appealing, actual understandable notions and things, and well, the bare minimum or whatever of just what it is to me actually is quite qualifying, and actually is quite actually assumed to actually be quite like genuinely quite legendary to say that to somebody else is that you've ever experienced anything quite so insane in all your life to like the actual degree of like somebody actually being able to do that and think to themselves, yes, I have a very long standing life, and yes, it is, yes, I do, yeah, and I do think casually and all the rest of it that has been so well explained, I really want to show you now. Because I actually do deserve money, and then some is like crazy to somebody, isn't it? Yeah, well, what's crazy to you is crazy to me as well, yes. And what is actually like refuted is actually that I am not like genuinely of good sound mind at the very case-to-case core, like prejudice basis. No, actually, you actually, there's nothing to get your hopes up or anything else about that at all, actually. There's actually nothing to get, I'm actually of a very good, respectable, high standing, very, very strangely to somebody else, actually, here. Because, and it is actually very, actually strangely to somebody else, because I actually don't have people around me. But I've never heard of them being able to interact or